this is Dr. Do again. This video is still on alphabetic list problem. Today, I'm going to talk about the post-traumatic distress disorder, PTSD. This is quite commonly talked topics recently. I think for last decades, not recently. I think probably since the last decade, because there is so many people suffered from these conditions and easily to be missed. Actually, a lot of people think I'm strong enough psychologically and physically so I can deal with this. But as a matter of fact, this kind of disease really had a long-term impact for a person's life. So what is the definition for this post-traumatic distress disorder, PTSD? Are there any emergency situation associated with this condition? I think it depends. It could be emergent. For some people, really, after the event, couldn't wake up or couldn't hold up themselves, or really severe trauma to the mind, to the impaired physical functions, couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, and so if that's the case, it is an emergency actually, to need to see the physician to replace whatever dehydration or the imbalance of electrolytes, or some people might have severe depression after this, and that if that's the case, it definitely is an emergency. So this is about the can you manage at home, even though your personal effort really count, in addition to medical treatment or the counseling for your psychiatrist or psychologist, but you have to be monitored or communicate with your either psychiatrist or psychologist or primary care physician. So basically, if it's diagnosed, you cannot be managed at home. Then let me just bring out the definition for this post-PTSD, post-traumatic distress disorder disease. There's a timeline actually, about 4 weeks. So the symptoms after the event lasting than 4 weeks, you still couldn't hold up and couldn't get back on your normal routine or your previous life. So that is the diagnosis. Start from there. The critical time actually is from the 3 days to the 4 weeks. The more critical time is about 2 to 3 weeks after the event. So that's the time you're psychologically and mentally awake, but just cannot overcome the event. So if that's the case, really, it's a good time to think about it, to talk to your physician. Actually, the best time is the sooner the better. After the event, just talk to your physician, because the early management, like the early SSRI medication and the early sleeping medication to help you to sleep, to rest well, and this is very critical for recovering from the event. In terms of the symptoms, it could be you flashback the past, and you couldn't eat, or you impaired your physical function, and you feel depressed. So this are all the symptoms, particularly for those flashing back, just cannot get over with the event. So if that's the case, really, the sooner the better, see a physician and to get help, to either counseling to give you a chance to talk out, or start from the medication. The medication for this kind of medical treatment, on top of the counseling, it's the SSRI, which is a serotonin receptor reuptake inhibitor. So you probably know it. SSRI, there is special kind of SSRI really effective for this condition, and also actually antihistamines. Any of antihistamines, the purpose for this antihistamine is to sleep, help you to sleep, to relax after this intense event. So then you relax, just catch up sleeps. So the sleeping is kind of healing or recovering process. So that's very critical. On top of that, the professional counseling, either the cognitive and also the behavior, probably pretty much cognitive therapy, because to change the point of view, to open up your mind, and to try to think positive. Of course, this is easy to say, and also to forget the event. So these are the strategies. In terms of the event, what kind of event can cause this kind of a disease? Of course, the war, the battle, probably that's the most commonly talked, and also the tragedy, the accident, the car crash, and other tragedies, or other accident. Or depends, and different people has different threshold to see this, to experience the present experience. So, but the diagnosis is really has a criteria to fall in the time range. The symptoms last for 4 weeks, and the symptoms including psychological, flashing back, and physiological, cannot put up yourself together, cannot function to deal daily life, and also have severe side distress or depression symptoms. So these are all or even though not psychosis, but still in the range of completely breakdown. So this is about the disease. And in terms of the prevention, I think this is the prevention of this is really probably the education or the input before the event. For example, before you go to the war, you see some kind of harshness, or see some movies, or read some stories, or get some education. Probably that's the remind or let you know what might happen during the war or any event. So, and also have a good view of the life, if it's not in the war or any other event, the good cognitive capacity to view the life, to view the blue and also the sunlight. I mean, this is not medical term, but it's just in general, be prepared and to deal with different level of challenge, and then you have to be prepared. So this is probably not just prevent the PTSD, but also prevent all the psychological or emotional breakdown when you deal with real life, because it's quite common nowadays. The physiological diseases on top of the organic disease like liver disease, kidney disease, heart disease, or diabetes, or overweight, and probably the psychological depression, PTSD, or anxiety, that's also surging up. It's also quite common. I think should be alert and change the point of view, and to build up the stress, not just physical stress, also the emotional and psychological. So I hope this video is it's helpful and give you some idea to relieve the burdens carried in your heart or on your shoulders. So, but if you have any comment, please leave a message attached to this video. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time.